sit down. I need to tell you something that's going to make your stomach tight, something that might make you want to walk away from this screen. Blood doesn't give anyone the right to drink from your well until it's dry. That's a hard truth, and I don't offer it soft. I'm 73 years old. I've buried friends. I've buried my own brother, older than me, gone too soon. I've sat beside deathbeds where the dying held grudges they never spoke aloud. And I've watched good people, good, kind, generous people, throw their last good years into a hole that kept getting deeper because they couldn't say one small word to the people who shared their blood. That word is enough. I'm going to give you something today. I'm going to give you a map, a way to look at the people in your family and see clearly, not through guilt, not through obligation, not through all the lies they've told you about what family means, but through the truth of what's actually happening in your bones. I'm going to show you the 4 types of family members you need to distance from after 70. Not cut off completely if that's too heavy for you right now. I'm not asking you to burn bridges. I'm asking you to step back, to put a little river between you and the ones who've been drinking your water without ever filling your cup. You've earned the right to protect what's left of your fire. Now listen to me close, because this part is going to sting. You're tired, not just in your body, though that's tired too, but in your spirit. That deep, bone level exhaustion that no amount of sleep can cure. You've spent 40, 50, 60 years giving to people, raising children, supporting a spouse, caring for aging parents, working jobs that drained you dry, being the one who showed up, and now you're 70, 75, maybe older. You look around at what's left and you wonder where it all went. The energy, the patience, the hope. You thought family would be your comfort in these years. You thought the people who share your name would gather around you like a warm blanket on a cold night. Instead, they bring you their problems, their crises, their judgments about how you're living your life, their endless demands for more time, more money, more attention, more of you. And the worst part, you keep giving because that's what you were taught. That's what the world told you. Family is everything. Family sticks together. You don't turn your back on family. But I'm going to tell you something that might sound like heresy. Family is not everything, not the way the world has twisted it in the old way, the way my grandmother's grandmother taught. Family was a circle of support, a lodge where everyone brought their wood to the fire, everyone carried water, everyone sang when the night got dark. But somewhere along the way, the modern world took that circle and turned it into a chain, a heavy iron chain clamped around your neck. And they told you that wearing that chain was love. It's not love. It's obligation dressed up as virtue. The old wisdom says you protect the fire at the center of your lodge. That fire is you, your remaining years, your peace, your spirit. If someone throws water on that fire, if they come to you only to take, to criticize, to avoid you when you need them, or to dump their sickness on you, then they don't get to sit by the flames. That's not cruel. That's survival. You don't let a fox into the chicken coop just because it shares your last name. So I'm going to walk you through the 4 types of family members who will drain your remaining years if you let them. And I'm going to show you exactly what to do about each one. Type 1, the taker. This one comes with an open hand. Always. They need money for rent. They need you to watch their kids. They need you to fix their car, co-sign their loan, answer their calls at midnight when they're in a panic. They need, need, and they never stop needing. You've been giving to them for decades, and you've told yourself it's okay because they're family, because they're struggling, because they just need a little help to get on their feet. But here's what you haven't faced yet. They've been on their feet the whole time. They just prefer standing on yours. I had a friend, Ruth, good woman, spent her 70s raising her grandson because her daughter couldn't be bothered. That daughter, I'll call her Beatrice, had a job, had a car, had her health. But she always had a reason. The rent was too high. The boss was unfair. The world was against her. So Ruth gave money she didn't have, gave time she needed for her own failing knees, gave sleep, gave peace, gave everything. And when Ruth fell and broke her hip at 78, do you know who came to the hospital? Not Beatrice, not the grandson she'd raised. They were too busy. They had their own lives. Ruth called me from that hospital bed, crying not from the pain in her hip, but from the ache in her heart. She said, "Helen, I gave them everything, and now I've got nothing left." That's the hard truth, right there. The taker will take until your well is dry, and when it's dry, they will walk to a different well. They won't stay to watch you thirst. They were never there for you. They were there for what you could give. Folk wisdom says a leaky bucket can't hold water, no matter how much you pour. You've been pouring into a leaky bucket for years. It's not going to get full. It's not going to change. You're the one getting empty. You need to step back from the taker, not with anger. That's what they'll try to pull out of you, just with quiet clarity. The next time they ask, you say, "I can't." No explanation, no apology, just, "I can't." And you let them stand on their own feet. They'll figure it out, or they won't. Either way, it's not your water they're drinking anymore. Type 2, the judge. This one doesn't come with an open hand. They come with a gavel. They sit in judgment of every choice you make, where you live, how you spend your money, the food you eat, the way you raised your children, the decisions you made 30 years ago that you can't undo. They remind you of your mistakes like they're holding a scorecard. You feel it, don't you? That tightness in your chest when you know you have to see them. The way you brace yourself before a holiday dinner or a phone call. You rehearse what you're going to say, how you're going to defend yourself, how you're going to explain your life to someone who's never lived one day in your shoes. I buried a friend named Earl not 3 years ago. Earl was 76 when he died, and for the last 10 years of his life, he didn't speak to his sister Edith. Not because he hated her, because he couldn't breathe around her. Edith was a judge. Every conversation was an interrogation. Why did you sell the house? Why didn't you go to the doctor sooner? Why did you marry that woman? Why did you let your son drop out of school? Every word out of her mouth was a blade, and Earl, good man, gentle man, would come away from every visit feeling like he'd been whipped with thorns. One day, Earl said to me, "Helen, I'm 72 years old. I've got maybe 10 summers left. I can't spend them explaining myself to someone who's never going to hear me." So he stopped. He didn't make a big announcement. He didn't write a letter. He just let the calls go to voicemail. He didn't show up for Christmas. He let the river widen between them. And you know what? His last years were quiet, peaceful. He sat on his porch and watched the sun go down. without anyone telling him the porch faced the wrong direction. Folk wisdom says a rock doesn't argue with the river. It just lets the water pass. You don't have to defend your life to the judge. You don't have to justify your choices. You lived them. You know why. That's enough. Let the judge's words flow past you like water over stone. And if they can't stop judging, then you stop showing up. Distance yourself, not to punish them, to save yourself. You've got fewer evenings ahead than behind. Don't spend a single one explaining what you've already lived. Type 3, the avoider. This one is harder to spot. They don't take from you openly. They don't criticize you to your face. They just disappear. When you need them, they're nowhere. You're in the hospital with a heart scare. They're too busy. You lost your spouse of 50 years. They send a text. You're lonely on a Sunday afternoon. They don't call back. They're always too busy or too tired or too something. But the moment they need something, the moment they're in trouble or want attention, your phone rings. And they expect you to pick up. They expect you to be there because you're the reliable one. You're the one who shows up. You always have. I watched this happen to a man named Frank. Frank was 82 when I met him. He'd been the anchor for his family for his whole adult life. Sons, daughters, grandchildren. He was the one they called when there was a problem, and he always answered. Always, even when it cost him sleep, money, peace. But when Frank got sick, real sick, the kind that doesn't get better, where were they? Nowhere. His daughter lived 20 minutes away and visited twice in 6 months. His son called every few weeks, quick 5-minute calls that were mostly about himself. One evening, Frank looked at me with eyes that had seen too much. He said, "Helen, I've been a lighthouse for them my whole life, but now I'm in the dark, and nobody's shining a light back at me." That's the heartbreak of the avoider. They take your light. They bask in your warmth. But when the storm comes for you, they're gone. Folk wisdom says a tree that gives shade to everyone eventually dies from too many roots being pulled. You've been giving shade, and nobody has been watering your roots. The hard truth is this: they've already distanced from you. You just haven't accepted it yet. They're not there. They've never really been there. You've been the one holding the relationship together with rope and prayer. So let the rope drop. Stop calling first. Stop being the one who always initiates. If they want a relationship, let them come to you. If they don't come, that's your answer. And you can spend that energy on someone who actually shows up, even if that someone is just you. The wind doesn't chase after leaves that have fallen. Neither should you. Type 4, the dumper. This is the one I've seen destroy more elders than any other, and I mean that from my bones. The dumper doesn't take your money. They don't judge your choices. They don't avoid you. They come to you and they dump every fear, every grievance, every sickness of their own soul. They use you as a trash can for their misery, and you, good person that you are, sit and listen. You absorb it, you carry it. You stay up at night worrying about their problems, their marriage falling apart, their adult children who hate them, their health anxiety, their loneliness, their everything. I knew a woman named Beatrice, different Beatrice than before. This one was 76. Her daughter, Margaret, would call her every single night. And every single night, Margaret would cry about something. Her husband didn't love her. Her job was too hard. Her kids were disrespectful. The neighbor looked at her wrong. Beatrice would sit there, hour after hour, soaking up every drop of poison. She'd go to bed trembling with anxiety. She'd wake up exhausted. She stopped going to her own church group because she was too worn out. One day, Beatrice said to me, "Helen, I love my daughter, but when she calls, I feel like I'm dying a little bit each time." And I said, "Beatrice, you are, because that's what the dumper does. They transfer their sickness to you. They don't want advice. They don't want solutions. They want to feel better by making you feel worse. They want a witness to their misery, and they will drag you down into the mud with them so they're not alone down there. Folk wisdom says you don't drink from a poisoned stream just because the person offering it is thirsty. The dumper is thirsty, thirsty for relief, but they're offering you poison to drink, and you've been swallowing it. The hard truth is this: you are not a garbage can. You are a human being with your own pain, your own body, your own limited heartbeats left on this earth. You cannot carry their sickness and stay healthy yourself. You cannot absorb their grief and keep your own peace. It doesn't work that way. The spirit doesn't stretch that far. Distance from the dumper doesn't mean you don't love them. It means you love yourself enough to put down their load. You say, "I hear you're struggling. I can't carry that for you. I think you need to talk to someone who's trained to help." And you hang up. You don't answer the next call. You let them find another shoulder. I know that sounds cold, but I've watched people die from carrying what wasn't theirs, and I'll never watch it again without speaking up. So now we come to the hard part, the inversion. I've told you about the taker, the judge, the avoider, and the dumper, and maybe you're nodding your head. Maybe you're thinking of names. Maybe your stomach is turning because you recognize every single one of those people at your own table. But here's the harder question, and I'm asking it straight to you right now through this screen. What about you? Are you the one who won't let go? Are you the one who keeps the door open to people who only step through to take? Are you the one who makes excuses for them? They mean well. They're just going through a hard time. I know they love me deep down. Deep down doesn't matter. What matters is right now. What matters is what they do when they're with you. What matters is how you feel after they leave. Because here's the truth about distance: it's not about them, it's about you. You are the one who has to decide that your remaining years are worth more than their demands. You are the one who has to accept that they might not change and that you don't need them to. You just need to move. A river doesn't ask the rocks to move, it just flows around them. That's distance. It's not a war, it's a redirection. So I'm going to ask you to do one thing, one small thing. Tomorrow, pick one of these 4 types, just one, and create a small distance. If you've got a taker, don't answer the phone when they call. Let it go to voicemail. If you've got a judge, the next time they start criticizing, say, "I'm going to go now. We can talk another time," and hang up. If you've got an avoider, stop calling. Just stop. If you've got a dumper, say, "I can't listen to this right now. I have to go." That's it. One small step, 1 inch of distance. Because distance isn't an explosion. It's a slow, steady pullback. And with each inch, you get a little more air, a little more light, a little more of yourself back. Now I'm going to tell you something that might be the most important thing I say today. You are not responsible for saving anyone else. Not your children, not your siblings, not anyone. You are responsible for the fire that's still burning inside you, and you need to protect that fire, because when it goes out, there's nobody else who's going to relight it for you. The taker, the judge, the avoider, the dumper, they will tell you that you're selfish. They will tell you that family doesn't turn their back. They will pull on the guilt you've carried since childhood. But I'm telling you that protecting your peace is not selfish. It's the most unselfish thing you can do, because a dried up well doesn't give water to anyone. A burned out fire doesn't warm anyone. You have to stay alive for yourself before you can be of any use to anyone else. And the truth is, some of these people don't need you. They need a mirror. They need to see their own reflection, and they won't see it until you step away. So step away, not in anger, not in revenge, just in love for the person you used to be and the peace you deserve to have now. Down in the comments, tell me, which one of these 4 are you dealing with right now? Just a number. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Or if you're dealing with more than one, tell me the one that hurts the most. I read every one. The fire's burning low. The light's going down behind the rocks. You've got fewer evenings ahead than behind. Don't waste a single one.